Welcome everyone, Tabletop Loft. My name is Brandon Hatton, and I'm going to tell you how to start miniature painting. Roll the intro! First off, all you're going to need is a few things. Just the bare minimum. You ready? Here we go. You're going to need some paint. You're going to need a paintbrush, preferably a new one since you're starting. Size 1 round. Bye brush. You're going to need a paint palette. I'll tell you why in a minute. You're going to need some primer for that. And the most important of all, you're going to need a miniature. Okay. Oh, and then you might need some water to do some mixing, this and that. I mean, I like a lot of the other creators here on YouTube, but some of them are going to tell you, yeah, you need a wet palette. You're going to need, airbrush. You're going to need this. You're going to need that. Look, you're starting off. You need the bare minimum. You need to increase your skills before adapting something else. Okay, so the thumbnail on my video says The Truth. And then it has a picture of a Swarm Lord. It's from Warhammer 40k. Tyrannid army, and he's like in a creepy cave. Yes, the truth. The truth is, you don't need miniature paints. I know, right? There's going to be a whole bunch of people out there right now yelling, blasphemy, heresy. But I've been painting for 5 years now, and I use craft paints. So my Tyrannid, that is on the thumbnail, or a couple other of my stuff if you want to check on my Instagram, Tabletop Loft. Everything I paint, I use craft paint. I paint my miniatures with craft paint. I paint my terrain with craft paint. Again, paint it all with craft paint. I paint paintings with craft paint. It's cheap. My craft paint, this craft paint, it's like 54 cents at Walmart. And yes, I shop at Walmart. It's super easy to get. I can go to Walmart and buy my craft paint. I don't have to order online and wait for it to ship. I don't have, if I go to one Walmart and they don't have what I want, I just go to another Walmart. I can't go to a game store, and if they're out of a certain color, that might be the only game store in your town. For me, I live in a big city, so there's multiple game stores. But still, they don't all carry the same paint. All Walmart carries the same paint. Okay, so, you're like, Brandon, miniature paints are formulated to cover better, or they give you a specific contrast or a specific effect. Yeah, so can craft paint for way cheaper. If you go to like a hobby and craft store, an art store, they have a painting department, and there are additives that you can add to your craft paint to make them do exactly what miniature paints do. It just takes a little bit of time, and it'll save you a lot of money. Miniature paints, I'm seeing sets for $90, okay? And it breaks down to being $7 per paint bottle. They're not even this big, the paint bottles, okay? This is 2 full ounces of paint. Now we're going to jump straight to paintbrushes. Paintbrush. You just need one paintbrush. You can't go to Walmart and get one paintbrush. But when I started, I went to Walmart and bought a whole set of paintbrushes called detail brushes. They range with small sizes for details. Well, miniature painting, you're going to need small size brushes. That's why I recommend starting off, like I said before, with a 1 round. It has a big enough body to cover, bigger parts of the miniature, but also, it's finer tipped to get into more detailed areas. So if you just want to spend the least amount of money, get a 1 round. If you want to spend more, buy a pack from Walmart or buy a couple brushes. But you don't want to go too big in size. I'm going to recommend maybe the biggest you get for miniature painting is a 3 with a nice tip on it. And the smallest you can get, whatever you want. Because the smaller size you get, the finer little lines you just can get on those. Oh, so nice. Okay, Now primer. Let me get it real quick. This is white primer. You can find it at Walmart, Lowe's, Home Depot, hardware stores, big box stores. I use this. This is white. You got 3 main colors of primer. If you want to use actual, indoor, outdoor primer. Just like miniature paints, there are miniature primer. I've never used those, so I don't really know the difference between that and this. But white for bright colors. You want to use a white primer. Just hit your miniature. Let's see if I got one. Oh yeah, right here, look. Okay, this bad boy is white. It's white. White like snow. White like me. So, this right here. You hit it with white. White primer is very good for light colors. Makes them a little more brighter when you paint over them. You can do a gray primer. A gray primer is going to give you a more drabby, dull feeling color, or just like I don't want a bright color and I don't want it super dark. Gray is your medium. Just spray paint your whole model in gray, you're good to go. Spray paint it black. If your miniature is going to be mostly black, mostly dark colors, like dark purple, dark reds, hit it with black first. Or if it's going to be mostly metallics, like you're going to, like me, craft paint. Just saying, use craft paint. Metallic craft paint, which costs like 3 times as much as normal craft paint. This is like $1.50. But yeah, if you're going to use metallic, like you're doing knights, or you want just metallic colors, hit it with black. Metallics show really good over black primer. But that's primer. So now we need a paint palette. This is a paint palette. It's $1 at Walmart. It's probably a little more money at other locations. You can buy stuff like this off of Amazon. Okay, so what this is for is basically you put your paint in it. You can add a little bit of water to thin it down, and you just paint from here to there. Okay. You can also mix colors in here. Put 2 paints in a little reservoir, add a little water, mix it up. New color, and you're good to go. This will take longer for your paint to dry out using this compared to, let's say, a paper plate. Because once you put the paint down on the paper plate, it's in a little glob. You add a little bit of water to thin it down. And you're like, oh, that makes it more wet. Well, yeah, that makes it more wet. Moist. Okay, so, but when you're mixing it, it's going to spread out on the paper plate a little. And the more area it has to dry. So that's why I recommend using one of these when you start off, and not just, hey, use a paper plate. I mean, you could use a paper plate, but you're going to have to keep adding more and more paint to it, more than you would this. And I recommend starting with this, and then if you just develop a different painting style, like you don't like using wet paint, you like dry brushing, which you can check out other people's videos on YouTube. But there's many different styles of painting. So, there's that. What else? Oh, we have this mat here. This pretty mat. I recommend, you don't need it if you don't care about mess, but something between you painting and the area you're painting in. So, you're at the kitchen table or dining table. I'm pretty sure you don't want paint on your kitchen table or dining table or on your floor if the only area you have is a floor and you're just sitting there with your back against the wall and you're painting. Put down some cardboard between you and your painting area. Like me, I have a desk to paint, but I don't want paint on my desk, so I have this cutting mat on top. And the reason I have a cutting mat is because I do terrain. So you don't need a cutting mat if you're just painting miniatures. You could just use some cardboard or trash bag or something like that. Just go to town. Okay, the last thing, the most important thing, paint something you think looks cool and interesting. Okay, a lot of people out there that, don't care about money. They just spend money on whatever they want, on whatever, like, big giant army game, like Warhammer 40k. I started playing Warhammer 40k. I saved and bought a few pieces here, a few pieces there. It took about a little more than a year to get enough miniatures to have an army. And I bought most all my stuff used. Like, I think I might have 2 miniatures that are brand new. Just brand new, that I bought brand new. But it's a big army game. Okay, if you're playing D&D, oh my god, I love D&D. And you're just doing one miniature, pick something, the character, you're like, okay, I want to play this character. Okay, go find a miniature that looks cool of the character. So you like, just huge options of miniatures out there, but pick something you like, something you think looks cool to paint your miniatures, and then paint them. Don't pick, like, if you're playing a war game and you're watching this video, don't pick the army you think is gonna dominate unless you have, money to blow, because it's not going to dominate 6 months down the road. Paint an army you think looks awesome. I have Space Marines. They haven't been good since the release of the current edition. Like, they haven't been terminate, blah, blah, blah. No, I like the look of them. I like giant soldiers, super soldiers in armor. I think it looks awesome. But yeah, paint what you like. And I'm going to catch you all in the next video. So, peace out.